That's what we're stopping. And what's important about that is that the tar sands production is now down 10% because they don't have a pipeline. And Enbridge says that if they get this online, they get that 10% back. I was like, no, you don't. No, you don't. 7 years, every tribe filed a lawsuit against them, every regulatory process. We went all the way through the regulatory process, and this pipeline should have never received any approvals. No agency recommended it. No agency recommended it. Then in a rogue decision, the Public Utilities Commission of Minnesota issued the permits. And then we all sued. And so we're in this giant legal confusion fog that many projects end up in. And many projects die. And so I'm standing in front of you saying, I sure hope the system works, because there's no way that that pipeline should go to Lake Superior and then continue on and threaten a fifth of the world's water. That should not happen. And that the tribes are strong against that, you know. This is what we look like in British Columbia, fighting the Trudeau West, right? This is what we look like in Minnesota, you know, on the streets of Duluth. I think we have a lot of style. Yeah, way more style than ours. This is me at the Enbridge shareholders meeting last year. See those signs behind me, Lace and Puck? These guys are screaming. They are screaming at me. They are screaming, Lace and Puck. They have these bullhorns. I was like, you know, looking at them, me and my sister Charlotte, we was just hanging there. I didn't say a damn thing to them. I was looking at them, I said, Charlotte, I said, you know, this is not a problem. They made a dysfunctional choice as Canada to pursue the tar sands. The layoffs in the tar sands are not my responsibility, you know? But sometimes you gotta do something really uncomfortable, like go stand in a bunch of screaming haters. You just stand there. Because someone has to say, no, you're wrong. And we ain't afraid of you because we're water protected. All right, this is a big part of the speech here. This is you know, they have a lot of names for this, but I refer to this as the Sitting Bull Plan. And that's to say that, you know, one of the greatest political leaders of all time was Sitting Bull. You know, and he said many things, but he said, let us put our minds together to see what kind of future we can make for our children. Right? You know, and that is this. This is also called the Green New Deal. I don't have a mic if I do that. You know, but it is, you know, this, just remember that the Green New Deal, you know, is a lot of good ideas. And it is also, if you go and vote, you can elect people who are enlightened. I just want to point that out as 2020 comes up. Let's push that, like get your vote out, right? Get your vote out, because they will try to close us down. You know that. But get out and vote. Look what we got. You know, AOC, man, visionary woman. That's what happens when women of color are elected to office. You get some new, clear vision. That's what happens. So, there's a few pieces on this. You know, I'm kind of an energy geek. I don't know how that happened, but that's me. Anyway, so the point of this is they say you can't replace your present level of consumption, where they say what you can't meet your present energy demand, is what they say. You know, all those guys say, can't meet your present energy demand with renewable energy. And to which I say, why would you want to meet your present energy demand? So the point of this chart is that this 57.7% is energy that is wasted in the present American electrical economy. That's to say, that all those things that they taught in economics class, like economies of scale, y'all go put that power plant and that dam project over here, and then they'll serve this city over here because it's convenient. Well, that wastes a whole bunch of energy. Every step in that wastes a lot of energy. And a lot of that's infrastructure we got here, like those aging power plants. These like really aging power plants, you know? Like, my mom is like 86, and the power plant at my stage is 86. I'm like, my mom is in good shape, and you are not. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't have an 86-year-old power plant. Right? And not just, you know, you need to be like, kind of like making sure things are efficient and they're working. Anyway, so my point is that what you want to do is reduce the waste in your system, but we haven't been doing that. By 2017, we increased it by 6%, or 9%, right? So my point is that what we want to do is start transforming our energy and material production systems so that we don't do so much dumb stuff and squander so much energy. That's the basics, right? So that means you relocalize as much as you can, whether it is energy production or food production, whether it is water, whatever it is, and then you figure out your most efficient forms to transport, in between. And basically you kiss a lot of that stuff that comes from China goodbye. Because a lot of that stuff is unnecessary. There's not a person in this room who hasn't thrown out bags of plastic garbage that came with his kids' toys, right? Who's done that one, right? Every person. I'm not trying to be weird about it, but we need to look at our materials economy because we spend too much time shopping, right? And it's really important, and I know that people that's like freedom, but that's not what you want for freedom. What you want is freedom to be able to drink some water. You want freedom of choice on quality of life, not freedom of choice on how many 7 different kinds of shampoo you can buy. Okay, I quit that part actually. Then there's this here. This is what you do for energy. So look, my little community up in northern Minnesota, it was cold. We had polar stuff last week. It was -3 one day. That's crazy. That's climate change stuff, right? So my community, we got housing projects, we got everything like every other reservation has. It's every statistic you don't want to have, we got fuel poverty, that's what they call it, which is in the wintertime, it's so cold, you got to figure out if you're going to eat or heat, or whose house you're going to go to until your electricity gets turned back on, right? That's my community, and that's actually a lot of people's communities. So the question is how are those people going to stay warm in the winter? So what we got to do is figure out the lowest cost heating ways to keep people warm. And the easiest thing, smartest thing to do is to get all insulated. And don't live in a lot of our housing is way too big. Right? And so I'm not going to go down that path, but what I'm going to say is this is something that we do in our community now. So for years we was putting on these solar thermal panels on the south side of houses. We bought them from these guys, these really cool guys down in central Minnesota. And it's about an 8x4, and here it is. This is it here. And then it gets it's box, and the heat goes inside. It's pretty simple technology. It's a certain kind of glass, all special. I forget what it's called, but when it gets hot in there, then the thermostat, when it gets to about 90 degrees, turns on the blower fan that'll blow the hot air in your house. And so it's placed on a south-facing wall of a house, right? A south-facing wall. Now, not all houses are situated like that. They should be. But most of our housing projects got something like that. It could save 15-20% of your heating bill. That's a really good idea to get something like that. It's called it's not passive. It can be run with solar photovoltaics. But it's, you got passive solar, but this is slightly active. Kind of the low-hanging fruit. You understand what I'm saying? Is people want to get all fancy. Sometimes you want to go for not fancy, more efficient, smarter. So that's us. Putting them up. That's one of my sons there, putting them up in my housing project. And then this is us making them. We put them up, and then this last year we started making them. That's cool, huh? It's called 8 Fire Solar, and they're SRCC certified. And we make them in my little village at Pine Point. And we have 7 employees now. And then, we're going to train crews who can install. And we just had our first big contract, which is with N.A.I.S.A as the N.A.I.S.A Fort Berthold Reservation for 28 of them. So, to me, this is the answer for a lot of our things, And then this is kind of the bigger picture. I got an upgrade on this because I was just up in Canada. They're like, what about us? My point is that turns out that Indian reservations are the windiest place in the country. Go figure out how that happened. But having said that, huge wind potential, out there to, do utility scale generation. If that is what tribes want to do, and also local generation. As well combined with solar. Particularly, it just depends on the community, what's available. There's use there, you could do geothermal, local solar, and then there's things that could generate for more, Now this is a really revolutionary idea, it's called solutionary rail. Solutionary rail. Now, when I was driving over here, I saw Amtrak train, and I was all happy about that, right? This is one of the first times I've seen a functional train system. You know, I mean, basically, we live in a country whose train system is like an embarrassment to Bulgaria. You know what I'm saying? We got the most backwards train system for this first world country that we are. Everybody here knows that that's because a set of decisions were made that privileged fossil fuel cars over the rails. A lot of decisions were made in California, right? But, you know, a lot of people would do trade. And there's a lot of decisions that are made that, you know, we're going to have to work on. But this year, it turns out, if you just think about that energy efficiency thing that I was explaining to you, start with this. A fossil fuels engine in a car, a fossil fuels engine is 16% efficient. Because every piece in there uses energy. It's like laws of thermodynamics. So your drive train, every piece in there uses energy. It's only 16% efficient, plus the damn fossil fuels that went into that are efficient. An electric engine is 65% efficient. So if you want to cruise around, what do you want to cruise around? You want to cruise around an electric, because it's a more efficient system, right? That's why everybody's going that way. And that's what we need to push. But then you also got to like not move so much stuff around. You know, because it doesn't work. Like you get, you know, you got to think about how you're doing this, which is your shot right now. Okay, so you move other stuff on rail. What's more efficient? Rubber on the road or metal on metal? Metal on metal, right? That's what rail is. Much more energy efficient. So the combination of having electric trains versus, you know, driving them on truck trailer, it's like huge, like a 70% difference in efficiency. Y'all follow me? You know, so my point is that you rebuild rail systems and you move stuff that matters on them. You know, you gotta quit moving toxic stuff. You know, because it's like not right. You know, people say to me, well, pipelines are so much safer than rails. I was like, you know what I say to people usually is, how do you want your heroin delivered? You want to come by rail, you want to come by pipe. Right? It's still heroin, right? Right? Anyway, you want to go electric rail? These guys in their vision, they want to run a direct current. They want to collect the power from the renewable energy sources to power the electric rail and use the rail corridor as a transmission corridor for renewable energy. Really interesting, revolutionary idea. It's called solutionary rail. Here's the rails. Bunch of them, you guys are kind of like, you don't doubt so much, but look at like some of these, like a lot of those reservations have rails on it. A lot of that can be used to distribute energy, right? Y'all, you know, this is what the indigenous Green New Deal looks like, right? And then you look at this is what makes me laugh. This is how I know we're backwards. You know, if it's the most efficient way to move stuff, and we're like the ones that didn't ever get there, but we always acting like we're super smart. That doesn't look so smart, does it? No. So you change this stuff, that structurally changes the economy. That's my point. You need a structural adjustment. You do it local. It's my friend Melina Lubicon. I was on her master's committee. She was at the University of British Columbia, and her master's thesis, she's from a little village in the middle of the tar sands called Little Buffalo. And in her master's thesis, she did that project, which is 20 kilowatts of solar, to power the health clinic in the middle of her village, which is in the middle of the tar sands. And they had no electricity except for a diesel generator for her health clinic in a village of native people in the middle of the tar sands, right? Y'all got that picture of how messed up that is? Right. So that's how you fix it. And so, you know, don't just write about the project, just do it. It's my little motto, just do it. I don't think Nike gets to own that, do they? We can just say, just do it, right? Really, they can get arrested for saying, just do it, right? This is us just doing it on White Earth. 20 kilowatts of solar, right? Powers our rail, This is Navajo Solar 27 megawatts. Kayanja Solar Project. Cool. This is my little farm. I hope that's not my fault. Could be though. Okay, so I'm a hemp farmer. I didn't even get to that part of the speech. Sorry about that. Okay. So, as you all this I'm a fiber hemp farmer. I know that cannabis is legal in this state, but Minnesota, it's so funny. They say, don't call it cannabis, just call it hemp. And it makes you feel like less awkward. So now I just decided to come out as a cannabis grower. I'm a cannabis grower. Okay, that's it. My work is in fiber hemp. It's in fiber hemp. I can't grow anything with THC in it. And I'm really interested in fiber hemp for a number of reasons. Like, just take the fact that, like, pretty much everything I'm wearing today, because I decided to not wear my hemp outfit. This is almost all, okay, so the cotton, 24% of the world's agricultural chemicals on 4% of the world's land. 5,000 gallons of water for a t-shirt and shirts. Everything else, you're doing the same thing. Polyester, something from fossil fuels, right? So if you want to go to a post-petroleum economy, if you want to like move on out in some cool way, you got to rebuild a natural fiber economy. So this is like the one. This is like the easy one. People always used to say that. Trudell used to always talk about him, but I was like, okay. I thought it was interesting, but now I'm a farmer. 4 years I've been growing. I grow 4 years, I have a state permit, Minnesota state permit. I grow fiber hemp. This is our field. That's, I got one, this is my son here. Also another son, a nephew, and my partner, and then one of my guys I work with, he's like my other partner in this too. They look kind of like bamboo, grows really fast, doesn't need water, 3 times the tensile strength of cotton. Really is a magical fiber. It's like bamboo. It grows really fast, and they say that it can bioremediate, which I think people should figure that out. Because we got a lot of stuff to fix. Because for every 8 feet above, there's 8 feet below of root. Just think about that, right? So you could maybe we could make heal things. But you gotta treat the plant right. The plant's not a slave. Nope. And that's what California is doing, is turning the plant into a slave. Nope. And that's not right. Nope. So this is our field here, and so what I'm interested in is that Minnesota used to have 11 hemp mills. Until the 1940s, we made clothes and rope. The word canvas comes from cannabis. Isn't that interesting? So basically anything that you make out of canvas, whether there's sails or everything that covers all those boats in Minnesota, all this stuff, everything that they're making now out of poly something, you can make out of hemp. That's what I want. Someone said you could make artisan, what did he say? Artisan cup resting things or whatever. Doilies or something. I said, no, I want to be revolutionary. I don't want to make doilies, I want to make canvas. Okay? But this is, I'm a supporter of legalization, of course, and all the medical benefits. But I also am a big supporter of this part of the hemp economy. Because if you want to change the world, you have to change the materials economy. And anything that you can make out of hemp, you can also do out of oil, you can also make out of hemp. This is like when we first went into our hemp field. I look really stoned, that's why I keep that picture there. I wasn't, but I just looked that way. I just think that's funny. This is our harvest this year. That field is to the left. This is just a little bit of how rocking hemp is. And so I just want to put that out there because this state is really, interested, obviously, in the cannabis economy for smoking or eating, but this is also significant. Last couple pictures about my little village here. This is my village, Pine Point. There's a film out a couple years ago called The Seventh Fire, and in that film this is a snapshot. It shouldn't have been called The Seventh Fire. They took that term. It's not right. But it's about the drug epidemic in my village. We've got an opioid epidemic. We've got heroin. We've got everything everybody else has that's messed up. So we didn't like how that was, and that's why our plant is in there, our solar thermal panel manufacturing facility. We decided we want to be cool with people. So this is some of our art. That's actually a California native artist helping us out there. And we decided to paint our housing project. You guys do a lot more of that, like that out here in California. But I was inspired by, I think it's called Balmy Alley, the Mission. I was inspired by the Mission. And so we did about 7. I'd like to get like another 10 done this next summer. Okay? It's our rice where the wild things are. Right? There's Avo. There's Avo. When I say that, indigenous president of Bolivia for many years until last week when a coup inspired against him by a lot of corporations and such. But he said something, he did some very visionary things, and the thing is that when you're in office, if you got a shot to do something visionary, you should do it. So what he did is he declared the rights of Mother Earth as a part of their constitution. Now that's entirely different than enshrining the rights of corporations as superior to the rights of humans, right? And what you need is someone to look up for the rights of Mother Earth, which is what Evo Morales did. As did Ecuador, and now nation after nation is looking at that. And rivers, in Aotearoa, New Zealand, and the Yurok. The Yurok just passed the rights of the river as well, right? In Northern California. And our people, we passed the rights of wild rice. Our tribe adopted the rights of Millennium, the rights of our wild rice. Be the change. That's what I want to say. Be the change. Find whatever it is in you, or whatever that magical thing is that you can do and do it. This butterfly teach a lot, but teach also the cells that transform that butterfly from a caterpillar into a butterfly. Those cells are called imago cells. And the first ones come and they are killed off. And then the next ones come and they are killed off too. And then more and more of them come until finally they overtake the other cells and transform that being into this butterfly. Imago is the same root as for the word imagination. We are the social imagination of the next world. That is what we dream, and that is what we can make. We are the imago cells. So be those. There are many. Have your trust in your plants. This is our cool old squash. I was the one who got to name it. White guys name stuff all the time, y'all know that. So I named this squash Gete Okosi. Means cool old squash. And 1,600 seeds. That's about possibility. That's about commitment to life. Squash are really a good teacher. Remember that we are seeds. Our wild rice lasts a long time. It doesn't even grow. One lake, 17 years it didn't grow, but then one day it came back. Be resilient. Be like seeds. Be courageous. This is your time. These people won this battle in New Brunswick to keep their water from getting fracked. They won. And I bet at the moment that woman stood there in front of all those riot police, she was terrified. Right? I bet she was. But we got to be those people. We got to be that courageous. Because that's how change is made. Social movements, prayers, ceremony, be a water protector. Come see us in Minnesota. Things don't go well for us. And the regulatory process, if the system fails us, the Ojibwe and the people of Minnesota, camping is doing good in Minnesota. That pipeline is supposed to go through the Itasca Park, headwaters of the Mississippi. There are campgrounds throughout that, and they have no pipe. So come visit, and be great. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for coming. Winona will be with us for a short time out on the West Courtyard to meet you and sign books and until she's ready to do that.
What county is it on?
Whatever you want. It's right out here. Perfect.